All right, we're back. Episode 119 of the Morse Code podcast. I'm here. Soapy's here. Jay Lang is back in the building. Back by popular demand, actually. One of our very favorite friends of the program. A lot of outreach whenever you jump on. So thanks again for jumping on, my man. How are you? What's going on?
I'm terrific. I got back from a bachelor party yesterday, so that was nice. My first real excursion since COVID ended. Mm-hmm. So how are you guys doing? It's good to be back.
Good to see you. Where was your party?
Down in Charleston. Went down to South Carolina for Thursday to Sunday. I came back. I used to when I was coaching hoops, I would always leave the Final Fours and I would schedule like the most ridiculous flight out of there, whether that was like a red eye out of Phoenix back to Boston or whatever. Yeah. I did a 5 a.m.er yesterday. I didn't even know they ran flights that early. I got to the airport and TSA wasn't even open yet.
That's always a good sign. The plane's like literally pulling into the airport.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I gotta get there. So I got there at 3:15 thinking, I mean, regular tough. Standard, got to get the bag on the plane, what have you. And the lady was like, yeah, you can just go have a seat. TSA will open at 4. I was like, oh, terrific. I got
we'll let you know when we're open, sir. That's funny. Are you an early airport arrival guy?
Yeah, that's like the only thing I'm ever really like on time for is I'm so afraid of missing the flight. So it's like hour 15 from the flight. I'm like, we got to get there. Where are we? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like 10 minutes from the airport or whatever. So that's the one thing I'm really cognizant of being on time for, You guys are too, Dan?
I am. Like, I'd rather get there literally like 3 hours early than like 10 minutes before and like stressed and like run around. Because airports are actually pretty fun. Like, there's plenty to do. You can drink, you can go to like a restaurant, can walk back and forth. Yeah. What about you, Soapy? What's your airport itinerary?
Oh, definitely early, because like being at the airport is my least favorite part of any trip. So I just want to get everything over with, like especially the people who don't know how to follow the rules and like take their shoes off, have everything out in the bins. Like, so I just try to account for all the idiots that show up there.
Good for you. It's a good way to live life.
Most people.
Yeah. I get like layover anxiety too. Like if I have like even like a 30 to 45 minute like layover in between, I get pretty nervous. Even if my original flight's like 5 minutes late, I just assume I'm not getting my second flight. Actually, funny story. One time I got laid over in the Denver airport that we've talked about before from like conspiracy theory and stuff, which I've never heard of. And I was like, oh, this airport is really cool. It has a lot of weird shit like all over the place. And then I remember
little did we know.
Yeah, no kidding. Little I know it's like an Indian burial ground / like Nazi underground railroad /
secret underground bunkers, like hiding all the nuclear warheads in the country and stuff. Yeah.
And I think I remember seeing that weird like blue Bronco or whatever it was too. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I remember thinking like, oh yeah, like I guess most airports have like statues out front. And then I realized, like, no, most airports definitely don't have like weird statues out front. So it's definitely. But
that's not something I would think twice about though either, because like especially in Denver, like there's a big blue horse out front. I mean, the Broncos, like what of it? I mean, that's just something you walk by, and that's like the alien iconography to make that like the big deal. This is the airport that we're gonna store everything at.
Yeah. You had something to say, so.
No, I'm just enjoying this conversation with the listeners. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Before we get into it, as always, we're proudly brought to you by Cold River Vodka, the spirit of Maine. Looks like Soapy has them now on your windowsill.
I do. I figured it would be closer view.
Adjustment. I like that a lot. Very good move. Yeah. Very good move.
Solid.
Let's get into it. So let's touch real quick on the finals, and then we'll move on to bigger and better things. I don't think we've talked to you really, Justin, since we've even kicked off the playoffs, really. Soapy, I know you had some takes. Any thoughts on your end so far, the finals? Are you enjoying yourself, Justin? Is this how you expected it to go? Any hot takes to get off the old chest?
It's been a lot of fun to watch. I know everybody made a big deal about it being Phoenix and Milwaukee in the finals, but like It's 2021, man. It's not like this major disparity between like payrolls and stuff, like everywhere. So it's just like, Phoenix, Milwaukee. Yeah, they're small markets, but they're good. They put together a good basketball team. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, they're scoring a lot of points, which is nice.
Yes.
We're not looking at any 99, 95 games or anything like that.
Piston Nets 06 vibes in the finals.
Oh yeah,
that was. Oh, that was brutal.
I love when I come across those old box scores like that Pistons finals against the Lakers.
God,
when they won in 04 and the game
player of the game with 17 points and 6 rebounds. Finals MVP averaging 12, 9, and 3. One of the funnier things I think, and I know you mentioned it too. We were talking about the PJ Tucker poster earlier. That guy has odd stat lines for like a starter in the NBA. And I was actually just looking at the last, I think he scored 7 points in every game this finals. And like his rebounds and assists will hover around like 5, 4. I don't know, maybe a little higher on the rebound side. But like if he didn't wear like 3 or 4 pairs of sneakers like throughout the game, that's a tough look in the finals. Like that's about as irrelevant stat line as you can get. And then just getting posterized that day. Who was it? It wasn't Campaign. It was
Cam Johnson.
Cameron Johnson. That's
Cam
right.
Johnson.
That's tough.
He put him right into the Earth's crust. Just dunked the shit out of it. That was one of the worst ones I've seen since since DeAndre Jordan got Brandon Knight in that famous one when he was on the Clippers a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And if you watch the highlight, it's almost like he didn't even know he was there. Or if he did, like didn't regard him at all. He took off from like just inside the free throw line. Like PJ Tucker was just an afterthought at that point. Like I'm getting 2 points pretty efficiently. There happens to be like a 6'10", pretty bulky guy in my way, but so be it. Yeah. I think he got an and 1 too. I think PJ got called for a blocking charge.
Yeah, he was like, this isn't going to affect the way that I approach how I'm going to score this basketball.
I'm doing what I wanted to do. Yeah, if this guy wants to move, great. If not,
you can be there if you like.
By all free country, PJ.
You're in the league too. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to get into this. So, Soapy, you had some takes. I think you were talking about this series going one of 2 ways, and you had a thought on each way.
Yeah. So, real quick, I think no matter how it goes, I feel like this series is pretty important for the NBA landscape going forward. So, number one, if Giannis wins, it would be like the homegrown talent sticking with his home team, especially giving them another shot after like last year's debacle against the Heat. Right. And if he wins, like, is he far enough in his career where a lot of people would confidently say, okay, I think he's going to stay with the team. Mm-hmm. Or number 2, if he loses and the Suns win, surprisingly not Chris Paul. That wasn't my like legacy thing. I think it's actually Devin Booker, where he's still really young, but it's been I was going to say a long time. I'm trying to think.
How long has he been in the league? Like 6 years?
6 years, something like that. But if you think about it, that's long enough for any other superstar where we'd be like, all right, he doesn't have what it takes to get it done. And obviously his team hasn't been good until now, but if he wins, would people think, okay, this is a guy who, even though he's young and he has players around the league that want to play with him, aka D'Angelo and Cat are his best friends. And they said in an interview like a couple of years ago, I think it was D'Angelo was like, yeah, we're going to find a way to play with each other at some point.
Yeah.
But would this completely dead that story, and Booker would be a Sun for like at least a long time, if not the rest of his career. So I feel like it could like really affect how the NBA is going forward, because whoever loses is going to be more prone to thinking like, all right, well, I went as far as I could go with this team.
Yeah.
More so Giannis in the immediate future, but
time to call the Lakers.
But with Booker, it's also like, if he goes a couple more years, and like, you can't guarantee that team's going to be good enough to ever get back to the finals, let alone have this good enough of a shot. So like this could be the point that he looks back on a few years from now and says, well, it'll never be that good again, so I might as well go team up with someone. So I was curious what you guys think of that.
No, I think that's a good thought. And I think the Suns, I think both these teams in the finals is very situational too.
Yeah.
You know, like the Suns' path to the finals, they're still a good team. They deserve to be there. But like injured Lakers, injured Clippers. Who else did they play? Oh, the Nuggets. They stink. They just rolled the Nuggets. And then the Bucks too. Nets weren't full strength at all. I guess Philly and Atlanta and Boston. I just think there's the Lakers and the Nets are going to be contenders next year. I think no matter what, Lakers will probably sign someone and the Nets are just going to be healthy. But yeah, I mean, I mean, for Giannis, I said this before. It's like, well, how old is Giannis? Is he older or younger than Devin Booker? He's got to be older, right?
I think he
was
older.
2013.
26.
Okay. So
he was the 2013 class.
Okay. So he's still young enough where even if he doesn't win this year, it's like you have 2 MVPs, DPOYs, all-stars, all-pros, and you get a finals. Like that's a Hall of Fame resume on its own. I think I didn't really think about it from Booker's standpoint. That's good too. But for Giannis, he's on like a very high trajectory to have a really good case for like an all-time great. If you count this like halfway through his career and then he does it again, another MVP, another finals. He keeps getting all pro. He keeps putting up stat lines. I still think he's going to move somewhere. I just don't think Milwaukee is the place for someone like that to stay long term. I'd be interested to see what it does for his legacy. Because I've said this before. I think I said it last year too. Especially once the Celtics were out, it's like there's so much. It just does so much more for the league's I guess history if LeBron wins another title, as opposed to the Miami Heat just winning a throwaway championship that they're never going to do again. So I don't know. I think I still think between those two, I don't know. I think, and plus I think the Suns are going to win anyways. So I think it's more likely to go in that Booker scenario, but there is the CP3 case too. And that's going to be absolutely so tiresome listening to him and LeBron just tweet each other back and forth about being roommates at the Springfield Hall of Fame weekend.
I don't think it's as honestly. I don't think it's as big to Paul. It's going to sound weird to say, but Paul's legacy it is to Giannis's. I mean, because he gets more shit than any good player in the league right now. First, almost no Giannis.
Oh, Giannis. Totally.
I think it's a bigger deal that he wins because if he loses, we're not going to hear the end of it until next spring.
Yeah,
and
right.
You know, Chris Paul. It's like. Oh, well, I mean, like he finally got there. So like he's got that. I don't think they're giving Booker enough credit too. He's had a hell of a playoffs and DeAndre Ayton's earned himself a shitload of money because he's played terrific.
Is he up for a contract?
Chris Paul
this year?
is Chris Paul. I think so. Yeah. I think this is his extension year coming up. So talking about playing well in your contract year, you know? And one thought I had, Soapy, when you were talking about this with Booker's legacy, is there a way that this ends up with Cat in Phoenix?
Who knows? Especially
a
like,
year or two down the road.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, if let's say whether Phoenix wins or loses, Chris Paul is still a restricted free agent at the end of this season. So I don't know how that plays into things, but if the Suns
he'll be unrestricted if he turns down his option,
which it sounds like he wanted to do, right? He said no to that extension offer they gave him.
Yeah, I think he was looking for 3 more years. I think is what he wanted. That's what I saw. I'm not an insider by any stretch of the imagination, but you know what I mean.
I definitely know what you mean. Yep. Right, so
I mean, if the Suns win and then Booker is clearly like the centerpiece of this team, then who's to say that they wouldn't? I don't know what it would take, number one, but yeah, a couple years down the line, if Booker's like, you need to get me Karl Anthony Towns. I know I've loved playing with Ayton, but like, would Ayton? I assume he would have to be involved.
That's
in the deal.
Too. Yeah.
I also think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick. Do you guys think if the Bucks win? I kind of have a hot take. I think if the Bucks win, the whole Giannis free throw thing goes away.
That's way that already played out.
Well, no. Well, in terms of like people are still gonna shit on him, but I think it will go the same way that the Shaq free throw thing did, where people are like, yeah, he sucks at free throws, but it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Right.
Because number one, he's won. And number two, he's so dominant that portion of his game doesn't matter. You can foul him 20 times if you want. If he hits 10, then we'll take that as a W. And it almost like completely erases that, I think, if he wins.
Yeah.
If he loses, it still is a big part of his story.
Yeah, I thought you meant more like the counting his free throws and like all like the other side of it. As far as getting him to the line, that's Shaq's a good example. The thing about Shaq was he was just so much bigger than everyone else. Like it was literally like I don't know, like Jamal Tinsley, like small point guards, like literally hacking Shaq like to get up to the line, like hacking it like a great oak tree or something. And then you're right. It's like whatever. I'll get a breather. It's like basically a free timeout. If I hit one of two, that's positive, and then I'm still going to get 40 and 15, and we're probably going to win by 30. So yeah, I could see that going well too.
But he was 13 to 17 last night. He was big. He was great at the line last night. Yeah,
he'll hit him. And that's the thing. Like I think he's good enough and intrinsically motivated enough to get better at that. I mean, he's not a great shooter, but he's taken strides in becoming he's a better shooter for sure. He's a threat. You have to guard him, especially compared to like Ben Simmons, who I'm not confident at all is going to work on his free throws or like get any better. So I don't know. I like Giannis. I want Giannis to be a all-time great player. And I think a ring this year would help. It's just going to be tough to, I think, keep a strong core team in Milwaukee if he for some reason wants to stay. Phoenix, on the other hand, I think has a good chance to become a destination. I think Phoenix is becoming a cool place to play. It's close to Vegas. It's close to LA. To your point, I think Devin Booker is a cool centerpiece. Even Ayton, and even to the Cat argument, like I'm not convinced if they make that move in the next few years. Or I'll put it this way: like I could see within the next few years, Ayton being a widely accepted better player than Karl Anthony Towns, and then just being like, we're not making this move. Like this is not a good basketball move. Like if you want to go play with Cat, go play with him. But we're not getting rid of our 25-year-old superstar at the time or whatever he is when they come to that decision. I think Ayton's legit. I think he's one of the few.
And D'Lo's not good.
No, D'Lo's. I don't really think. I don't think he's part of the equation anymore. Cat is.
They made that statement a long time ago.
Nah, D'Lo's out. Cat is just. I don't know. I think he got a lot of hype at the time because he could shoot. Now everyone can shoot, and Ayton doesn't need to, as you've seen, because he's a great fit for that team. He can just like when I watch the Suns games, I swear DeAndre Ayton gets every rebound. Like, it looks like he gets every rebound.
It's crazy.
He's also just massively unique compared to the rest of the league. Like he's one of. I feel like
he's a center. Like there's just not centers anymore. He plays center the way the 5 is supposed to be played.
Yeah, and he's also like that actual center size. Like if I had to think of people who I consider a center just physically, it'd be like him, Embiid, Jokic, and like just as size goes, this guy doesn't belong with the other 3, but like I don't know, fucking Hassan Whiteside is just another big body. But
Marcin Gortat.
Yep.
Another perennial all-timer. I think there's I don't know. Do you guys consider Anthony Davis a center?
I
see him play more power forward than center. Yeah. I don't know.
Because he
Dwight Howard off the bench as a center. Yeah, right. Rob Williams, I could see becoming a real center. Capella. I guess it depends on the team too. Capella's a real center. Yep, that's a good one.
I have a question for both you guys, and especially Justin, just having been a coach. Like, you know how there was a time when KG towards the end of his Celtics career said, I don't want to play the 5 either. And then, the Anthony Davis thing. I don't understand what that means in 2021 when someone says that they don't want to be the 5, because like realistically, that's just literally the fucking label so that they can put a graphic on you in the beginning of the game. I don't understand.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like just because you're center doesn't mean you need to be down on the post, and it also doesn't mean that you have to defend the other team's center, unless they're saying like, all right, when we say that you're playing center, it also means that the next biggest guy in our lineup is going to be fucking Contavious Caldwell Pope or something like that. So like, I don't know. What is your take on that?
I mean, I think you're right that just in the increasingly I'm going to sound like a talking head. In the increasingly positionless NBA today, I think, that's you're right. It's just like a number. Oh yeah, he's the center. He's the C on the screen in the starting lineup because we got to put somebody there. But I know that just from the X's and O's side of things, like it's to have somebody in that inside area, and I just think he probably doesn't want to play there. And like, I get it. You don't want to bang with like dudes that are like Boogie Cousins, who's built like a brick shit house. Yeah. You know, like a couple of years ago, you know, before he got hurt in the whole nine.
Yeah.
But like, you're 100% right. I mean, who cares? Like my favorite thing to tell guys, oh, where am I going to play, coach? Like on the floor? Like, yeah.
Yeah. The
like,
game isn't like the game isn't a script.
Well, I was just going to say, I was curious. I pulled up the All-NBA first team. The All-NBA first team center here is Jokic. Jokic is about as fluid as a center there is in the league. Like, watching the game, you could say, oh, that's a small forward. That's power forward. That's whatever. Embiid's second team. Rudy Gobert, third team. Rudy Gobert is a center. He just kind of stinks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bam. Bam's the Olympic. I was thinking of the Olympic team, too. Bam's the Olympic center. I think it's just Bam and Kevin Love pretty much, right?
And like Draymond.
Play the center.
AKA PJ Tucker light. Oh no, he's PJ Tucker heavy.
Heavy. Yeah, he's like the
PJ Tucker wiser.
Yeah. He's a rich man's PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker platinum is DeAndre or Draymond Green. Okay. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about basketball anymore. It's been such a great week on the internet. That's why we wanted to bring you on, because we're all three of us
week on the internet.
All three of us use the internet. And it just boggles my mind that like you can download the Twitter app for free, create a profile, username and password, sign in, and just see all this entertainment. So it's been a long week. I don't know if you want to start more recent and move back or vice versa. Let's start here, Justin. Let's talk about some of the ones we haven't really talked about in our group chat to get your take. This might be my favorite from the week. The breadsticks debate that went viral. I don't know who that woman was. I don't think she was like a celebrity, right? It was just someone's Twitter.
Nope. It was someone with like 100 followers. Yeah.
That's always the best ones. And I wonder, like, because you know what I mean? Like if someone who has like 100,000 followers, their tweets are going to do numbers no matter what, just numbers game. That one needs to, you know, like snowball effect, like one retweet to the other. And I think the final was like something along the lines of 97-3, 98-3 in the yes or no. But the question was, and I think the adjective was tacky, right? Yeah. Is it tacky to eat the free bread served to you at a restaurant within like 5 minutes or something like that? Something I've never even considered thinking about. No, I'm going to assume we're all pro free bread when it comes to a restaurant.
Free everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. I think my biggest discrepancy was like, I know what she's trying to say. I think she was trying to be like, not snobby, but like, you know, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here for my meal. Like it's tacky. Like it's tacky to eat the free bread. Like first of all, like go to hell. Like it's probably one of the better parts of the meal. It sets the tone for the whole meal.
You know it gets the people going.
Yeah. It really does. Like when you sit down to the large group, it's always like I'm picturing the Olive Garden. So for example, I'll use my bread as the Olive Garden. Big fan of the Olive Garden breadsticks. They're free. They're limitless. It's part of the experience. Like when you have like a larger group sit down for dinner, it's always a little kind of shaky at first. Like, there's like side conversations, and especially before you get drinks too, right? So it's like, all right, where's this going? At least like once the bread comes, it's like, all right, here's a mutual agreement. Like we're all gonna like go to town on this bread. Like I reach for the breadsticks like before the server even like has it on the table. I can't imagine a world where, nor do I want to imagine this world. Like imagine like 3 couples go out to dinner, so 6 people total, and the bread just like sits there and no one like addresses it. That sounds like hell on earth as far as like going out to dinner. I can't do it.
That's like the classic like social experiment. Like, oh, these are the stale donuts. We're gonna leave these in the room for a half hour, and then we'll bring in fresh ones. Yeah. Like, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody bend. This isn't an opinion thing. She's wrong. I've never seen anybody. Oh,
that's not even a conversation. Yeah.
About like anything. And then she not only doubled down or tripled down, she quadrupled down on that with all the, oh, it's oh no, you got to eat it like after 5 minutes. Like, Nobody is doing that.
Nah.
You can eat that when it's hot.
Right. It's part of the meal. Like, especially if you know, like if I know I'm going to Olive Garden, I plan on having 2 or 3 breadsticks. Like that's part of my plan.
Oh yeah.
I incorporate it into that. You know what I mean? If I go to a new place and maybe I had like a light snack before, I was just planning on my entree for whatever reason, and I don't know they serve bread and they do, it's like, oh, okay. Like I'm never not going to eat it. Like even if I plan not to eat it, I'm full. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But sorry. So go ahead. Anything on your end as far as this goes before I had another thought?
2 things. So,
oh boy, go ahead.
First of all, she said, if you're that hungry that you want to eat the bread that fast, you should have just pre-gamed your dinner. An absolutely absurd statement. Number 2, when you go to eat the bread, not only is my table going to eat the bread, it's going to be to the point where like when it comes down to the last roll or the last breadstick, it's always like, well, no one else is going to finish this, right? Like you guys are cool with me taking this one, or like someone always inevitably ends up saying that. So like that bread gets fucking mowed. It's not just like, we're not peacefully eating it. We're not like waiting till the conversation's over. I'm not going to wait until like the waitress leaves the table. Like the bread gets set down and then I pick up the bread.
Yeah. There's never like an overage in how much bread they serve you. Like it gets eaten.
No. A lot of times you'll ask for like a second helping of the free bread.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like Olive Garden breadsticks. What are some other ones? Texas Roadhouse has great pre-meal bread.
With that
what's your
butter?
guys' favorite? Yeah, what's your guys' favorite as far as like chain restaurant bread? Roadhouse is
Roadhouse got to be up there.
Yeah, it is.
Roadhouse is up there. I like Not Your Average Joe's too. Not Your Average Joe's has good bread. Soapy, you ever been to Not Your Average Joe's?
I haven't. I know there's one in Nashua here. I haven't been there. Bertucci's.
Very good one.
Oh,
I think I remember didn't Mixtape talk about this before? Or maybe it was just Coley. I've heard like people on a podcast talk about this. Bertucci's is
I think Coley tiered them, right?
Probably, yeah.
That sounds
I think he tiered the breads,
Bertucci's is up there. Oh, Cheesecake Factory is another popular one. Like that dark bread's very good. And as this was going around this past week, I heard a lot of people talk about the Red Lobster bread. I've never been to a Red Lobster.
Me either.
Oh, daddy.
Good? Big fan?
I've actually never been to a Red Lobster, but a couple weeks ago, my mother-in-law brought over a thing of the mix to make the biscuits, and they were delicious. Definitely recommend. You can buy them at a store, so you never actually have to set foot in a Red Lobster. As New Englanders, I'm sure you feel as I do that it's sacrilege.
Yeah,
we can get better seafood elsewhere. So
that's why they don't even fucking exist.
Definitely recommend the biscuits anymore.
Is Red Lobster bad? Like, is it not supposed to be a good restaurant?
To a seafood lover, it's blasphemous to like even mention that name.
It's not like fresh caught seafood. Well, I mean, they serve seafood at like Applebee's and like other places.
I'd rather
like
eat
that.
It from there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think they do the thing where they like vacuum seal it and like freeze it and stuff and ship it around the country from like a central like distributor in, I don't know, Nebraska or somewhere where there's not seafood.
Yeah, where there's not water.
One of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to see my guy catch it, just scoop it with his bare hand and throw it over to the chef. Give it a chop.
Yeah. Toss it to me. I'll catch it in a piece of newspaper like a fish market and run home.
Absolutely. Okay. So cheddar biscuits at Red Lobster. What are some other? I thought maybe. Go ahead.
Well, it's not free bread. The cheddar biscuits are free from Red Lobster.
I don't know. I've never been to a Red Lobster.
Neither of us have ever been.
So. Oh yeah, right. Sorry.
They were free to me. My mother-in-law bought them. So I mean,
right. None of us have ever paid for them. Okay. I think they're complimentary from the way people are talking about it. And some people talk about them so good that they're worth paying for. I don't think I think bread has to be free. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a restaurant with like a loaf of bread on like the appetizer menu for like $6.99. It's just part of like the restaurant experience.
Well, so that's where I was going to go with this. I was going to say, any place that gives you a roll or a biscuit as part of the meal automatically. So like the Weather Vanes always give you like pretty good rolls, but KFC and what's the other fried chicken place? Popeyes.
Yeah,
those two biscuits are phenomenal.
Popeyes biscuits are the shit. Very good. Yeah, but that's not like a pre-meal like complimentary. It's a different tier, but they are good. I'll give you that. They are good. Olive Garden breadsticks are really good.
Yeah,
But
the fact that you can take them home in like the foil bag, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah,
absolutely, and they're just as good. One thing that's tough is Olive Garden. I don't know if other restaurants do it too, but they give you an uneven number. I think Olive Garden is 5 is like the base serving. So if you go out with an even number of people, like you want a date or something, it gets hairy. Like it's tough. To your point, Soapy, there's always one left. And that's always such an uncomfortable conversation. Everyone's thinking the same thing. Somebody has to sack up and make a move, address it. But it's never comfortable. And I always feel like a piece of shit like eating that bread because you're the only person eating, obviously, because everyone else is finished. And then you're just sitting there. What about chips? Are you guys chips and salsa fans? Free chips and salsa?
So you seem like a guy that would just grab the breadstick and just straight alpha it and just make eye contact as you're eating it.
Is anyone going to eat this?
I'm the man at this table.
Yeah, that's my breadstick.
Just you can't set the tone.
Eat it out of the bag like it's I don't know, like you're holding a 40 or something. But the other place I just thought of that has free bread that never goes to waste is at a wedding.
I guess, yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if actually I would be
Please go on.
Yeah, because anytime that you go to a wedding, obviously like the salad and the bread come out and then you're typically waiting a while before the entree comes out. And whether you're dancing and you need some energy. You need some electrolytes, which I know that bread doesn't provide. But also, if what was I gonna say? You need to like soak up the alcohol a little bit, and you just need something other than drinking. I feel like that
bread's a good choice. Quick. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I mean, it's never a negative. Like if a restaurant offers free bread, it's such a weird thing to like take a stand on that side of like the argument. Like
it's a very, very weird thing to do that on.
I think if that person really wanted to like maximize their social media presence, like she should go live like at a restaurant and like put her money where her mouth is. Just like watch the thing of bread and just don't eat it for 5 minutes. Like I don't know where the 5-minute rule came from either. It'd be different if she's like, no, I just strictly don't eat like the free bread. That's fine. But she's like, I just don't eat it within the first 5 minutes. That's tacky. So now it's like, you're going to eat it, but I prefer it to get a little more stale. It's a little, I'd like it a little more lukewarm before.
Yeah, I don't like being able to see the heat rise off of it when I'm about to eat it.
No thanks. I do want to see steam. To Soapy's point, I think we should start normalizing like homeless people just eating like Olive Garden breadsticks like as they walk around instead of like 40s in like those brown paper bags. I don't even know if that's still a thing. Have you ever seen that in real life? I thought that was like one of those weird movie things that you don't see in real life. Or the worst ones are like normal people. Like that was such a cliche thing in movies, like the guy like with his tie like undone, just walking around downtown with like a 40 in a paper bag after he or she got like fired or something. It's like that doesn't happen. People don't do that. People don't drink out in public as much as people who are down on their luck. I don't think they just walk around drinking in public as much as like made for TV movies seem to be in like the 90s and 2000s. I've never seen someone just walking down the street all disheveled, just drinking out of a paper bag because he lost his job.
You ever think about that? Like movies have led us so astray on things. Like I've never seen anybody actually stand up and object to a couple being wedded.
I don't even think you can. I really don't think that's a real thing the priest would let happen. I'm trying to think. Did they even ask that anymore?
They didn't ask it at mine. Did they ask it at yours?
Not that I remember. I definitely don't remember.
Yeah, we didn't even open the door.
Not even an option.
I've seen it once at the Posnick's wedding. I remember seeing it there at the Posnick's wedding.
Someone said something, or they gave you the chance. Yeah, right.
They gave you the chance.
Yeah, okay. That's so weird. That's so uncomfortable. Like, who would do that? That will never happen. I bet it's happened in the past year. I bet it's happened at less than 1% of weddings. Like,
it better be good, and it better be like a prepared speech, and it better involve either the groom or the bride being like a murderer.
Or usually in movies, when it happens, it's because someone's actually like in love with one of the people. And then they realize, oh, I shouldn't marry this jerk. And like they marry the guy or girl who objects. that's never going to happen. Like, that's not the time or place to say something like that. I can't see that going well. But no. To your point, 90s movies would prove otherwise, or point you in a different direction.
And on the same token, while we're here, I figured I'd bring it up. Not a lot of people just not showing up for their weddings either.
Yeah,
very
that's never
slim
happened.
amount.
Nah,
I had one of my groomsmen asked me at mine. He goes, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Dude, like we're like 10 minutes from the ceremony. I'm pretty pot committed now. I'm in a suit. I've had a few beverages. I'm like ready to go. So yes, I'm sure I want to do this."
The priest is waiting for my answer.
Yeah, I'm literally.
So
I'm gonna do this.
Can you give me a second? I'm just trying to get married here. We can talk about this after we exchange the rings.
I have another one too. I think I've said this before. I've never once seen someone in a movie play video games the way normal people play video games. Like, if you watch people in a movie play video games, they're playing like a game where you, like, when you play video games, you're probably like this. Like, you probably move your thumb 10 times every like minute for whatever it is. In any movie, like the cliche in a race car game, they're like, like with their remotes, like, like, it's just bizarre to me how like they can make these movies where it's like no one here has seen someone do one of these normal things, like go to a wedding, like play a video game, like I don't know, 100 other things that we weren't prepared to talk about tonight, but I can probably think of off the top of my head. Yeah, very weird. I know the other cliche one that goes around I see a lot is people tweet or something like, the way I grew up, I thought I'd run into a lot more quicksand in like everyday life than I have. I'd say like every like sitcom, every like Nickelodeon sitcom, something, there's definitely a quicksand episode, like out of like a 10 season like anthology. I don't even know if that's a real thing. Is it just deep sand that you get, like the way they made it, you get like twisted into sand and be buried alive, which sounds awful, but I'm not convinced.
I think it's just in like jungles, right? Jungles and probably deserts. I would assume places where there's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had like an irrational fear as a kid because of, like you said, these cartoons, but it's like,
no,
I don't even think I'm in the same country as it.
Nah, it's nothing for us to worry about. I'm not going to teach my son to worry about that. All right, let's move on. Do you guys want to go Brenneman, or your thoughts on Diddy waking up to 15 roaches on his face and turning his life around like that?
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's kind of our brand. We got to go Brenneman. Like, that's kind of like what we're all about here, right? I mean,
it's one of those things that's too unbelievable to be true, but I know we're a little behind the 8 ball on this. A lot of our listeners also listen to Tyler, and I think who else? I think Jenkins and Jones guys might have touched on it, but there is just a weird aura around that Tom Brenneman guy. It's weird because he does this for a living. Like, he is a career announcer who just can't read the room after like a 10 to 20 year career. So the one we all know well is, of course, the incident in Kansas City last summer. Caught on a hot mic. Yep. You know, if you listen to our show, you know what we're talking about. Made a a homophobic slur on air, got caught, busted. Did the right thing, decided to apologize. And we'll get to Castellanos later. But Nick Castellanos, it's a home run right in the middle of it. Like a pro's pro. That's going to be a home run by Castellanos to make it a 4-0 ball game. Anyway, where was I? Continues his apology. And the other one, though, Twitter did their job. They went back. They found this one. It was some sort of eulogy, right, Justin? I think it was like old,
like a production guy,
executive producer or something.
Yeah.
Passed away. Very sad. His co-host, a couple of the producers sharing some sad stories. And I think it basically boiled down to, we're going to miss him now that he's gone. In the middle of that, Joey Votto got a hold of one big time. And this was like Joey Votto's prime. Like, he could go yard at any moment. This guy could ding one. Yeah. And Brenneman didn't miss it. Addressed the homer and basically alluded to something along the lines of, well, that one's going to be gone as well. 3-run blast by Joey Votto. Let's get back to Reds baseball. We're here for a reason. But tough look for that. Yeah. What was your guys' initial reaction when that one was dug up?
I couldn't believe it. I mean,
neither. This fucking
so
guy.
seriously, right? I mean,
that one was harsh because that one there was no mistake. It wasn't. He was just trying to call the game. He turned the guy's eulogy into a joke. He was because the guy had just said, and he's going to be missed. And then Votto hits
That's
it.
what it
and
was.
Brenneman's like, he's going to be missed like that ball.
Yeah, that's basically what he's doing.
off the bat of Votto, and that'll make it 3-1 Reds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like, harping back there. We go, oh, yeah, well, that one's going to be gone too. Joey Votto. He's batting .315 this year. He's a perennial all-star. It's 2-1 Red Legs. Let's go.
Yeah, and speaking of things that will never be seen again, how about that ball, huh? It was bad. Like that one was insult to injury. At least the homophobic one, he was just trying to. It's in his blood. He is just programmed to call the game.
I was going to say
he was like he tried to make it hurt.
Yeah.
The one last summer, he was in a tough spot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to really knock him for that. Granted, he shouldn't have said what he said in the first place. So anything after that is just gravy on top. But that's tough. Which one of you wants to run our listeners through that high school basketball one that Twitter came across?
Oh, that was that one. I'm an expert on. That was
I was going to say Justin should explain.
Go ahead, Lane. Paint a picture for our audience.
Come with me now as I walk you down memory lane.
How can I find this? I want to play the audio. I think it might be actually in the Fun Report link. Hold on.
It's definitely on YouTube. It went very viral a few months ago.
But this is from a while. Oh, is that recent? I thought this was an old one like they dug up.
I forget if it was like this January, February, or the last one. I mean, every day of the last
it's not in
17 months has been the same for me. So,
wait,
I'll walk.
Please go ahead,
got
Justin.
I know that I sent it to Dan. I think I can find it pretty quick. Let me see here.
I'm going to type in high school basketball car accident announcer.
I found it if you'd like me to play it.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
The only thing I found was that crazy racist announcer from Oklahoma. That's not the one.
Oh, yeah.
We've already beaten that horse.
We talked about that here.
Yeah. That's been addressed.
All right.
It was like a high school game, right?
Yeah. We'll play it and then we'll let Justin describe it afterwards.
Sure.
Well, and then there's one more gone but not forgotten, and that's our sweet Lucy. At the age of 12, she was run over in our driveway.
Like that.
Craig. Well, and then there's one more gone. There's one more gone but not forgotten, and that's our sweet Lucy. At the age of 12, she was run over in our driveway.
Like that? Was she run over like that?
I forgot about like the other ones he chimed in before. Like not even listening to this guy. Like calling this game no one gives a shit about. Wow. That's another weird one to like. That's a tough one to bring. Like I don't think it's also the time or place to bring up like your daughter getting hit by a car in the middle of the basketball game. I don't know. Call me crazy.
So I think it was a dog. So I think it was the family dog. So they brought it up.
Go ahead.
Because I've only seen that clip like from there to the end, basically.
Sure.
So I don't know what led into this. I didn't watch this high school game, so I'm not, I wasn't listening before. And what the hell could they have been talking about that would have? Oh yeah, let's talk about this during the game. Mm-hmm. And our beloved Lucy, his partner, dances all over. He was like the R.I.P. Bozo meme guy, like just showing up to Lucy's funeral to make sure she's dead. Yeah. Oh, was she run over like that? Was she run over like that? Like just digging right in. Yeah, I don't know, but it sounds like she might have been.
Yeah, it was a little more graphic than that slam dunk, but yes, I guess you could argue it was similar. Tough look.
Yeah.
I wish they had the whole thing. I'd love to see like how the rest of that broadcast went.
I was going to say, I guess props to this guy because you're calling high school basketball, so there's only so many highlights and maybe only so many dunks that this league has ever seen. But
yeah, true.
why don't you wait until like there's a free throw? Why wouldn't you do this during a dead ball or stoppage in play? Like, don't do this while someone's running their like half court offense. Like a breakaway dunk could happen at any time. What are you doing?
And I think Tyler or someone said that about like the Brenneman calls. It's like every pitch, you never know what's going to happen. Like could be a home run, could be a double play. I think he said like it could be like a line drive that like it's the pitcher in the face or like one of those things. Like there's always a chance you're going to have to break whatever you're doing and like address what's happening in the game. I don't know why those are so common. Like why and then you relate it back to like Jerry Remy and Don Orsillo. Like they talk about like hilarious things like in the middle of the play, which is great. Yeah. Because they never address what's going on in the game. Like the pizza thing. Yeah. It could be like a grand slam walk-off homer, and they're still like on their second screen just breaking down the pizza throw, which was the best part about that.
Even above and beyond like things happening, they would sometimes go most of a half an inning just laughing.
And that was the best part.
And then it'd be Orsillo coming back, his voice cracking. He's like, that's 2-1 by Buchholz. You know, like they're just dying laughing, like the game's just going on.
Yeah. So good. Actually, that's a good point. Baseball probably is like the best sport to actually, if you for whatever reason want to work these into your broadcast, baseball is probably the best sport. Yeah. Basketball is not the time or place. Like fast break basketball is not the time to pay respects to your dead dog.
Yeah. Imagine doing this during like the Showtime Lakers or like during the Warriors, like big run. You would never be able to say anything sad.
He makes that announcement literally during that famous Wade over the head alley-oop to LeBron in the game. Or like during the Iguodala block, and Mike Breen just has to wait to make his call. I'm waiting for one of the big guys to do it, like Mark Jackson. I don't know, go on a rant about like his a dead parent, or like making him and Jeff Van Gundy having a serious conversation about like social injustice or something. And then, that during that PJ Tucker dunk, like you hear the ref whistles blow, play stops, and they're just eulogizing Mark Jackson's like dead dog or dead relative or something.
No, it'd be like if Mark Jackson was talking about his mom, I don't know, not being allowed to join the school board because she was blocked because she was black, and then that play happens, and Mike Breen's like, oh yeah, like that, blocked by James.
Yeah, as a spectator, it's great. I love it, but it's super.
Banned her from the meetings. Bang!
I think those two are getting close. I know NBA Twitter's talked about this. Van Gundy and Mark Jackson are close to. I guess more Van Gundy is close to letting something drop. Something you shouldn't say on the air drop. Mark Jackson too. Mark Jackson on the side of like talking about like respectable women in the front row. I think he's going to push that envelope a little too far sooner rather than later. That's one of the all-time clips too.
If they do a Celtics game and Nia Long is there,
there's going to be a lot of with all due respects coming up tonight, the Celtics games.
We cooking with grease now. Nia Long still got her fastball. Mark Jackson was hitting on the wife of the best player in the NBA. What do you think he's going to do to Nia Long? He's going to just leave the booth and walk over and sit next to her in the stand.
The best parts too are like, no matter what happened in the play, like he was so dead set on getting some air silence so he could say what he wanted to say. I forget what the play was. Say it was like a 3-pointer. Mike Breen announces it. And then it's like 2 long seconds of like radio silence. And you just hear, I gotta say, with all due respect, and it's like breaks into like his monologue about, I don't know, some married woman sitting in the front row. Celtics might be Mark Jackson's favorite team to cover next year. You got Nia Long, Anna Horford. Say Tristan stays on the team, you'll probably have a Kardashian in the front row. He's going to push hard, I think, to get Celtics on national broadcasts.
Oh, and the Jays too.
Yep. Or he's just going to apply for NBC Boston just to strictly cover Celtics home games for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Now I got to ask, I got a good Van Gundy Mark Jackson one that I don't know if you guys have seen or not. Did you ever see the one where Van Gundy started talking about second cousins?
Great one. Yep. All time.
Vaguely remember. Walk us down
that one's terrific.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
So he's like the game is going on. It's like rockets. It's like middle of the season. Game's going on. There's like dead space, and he just goes, "So what are second cousins, anyways? Can you date them?"
I got it right here.
Like something like that. Yeah, play it if you got it.
I think, yeah, just like mid-season basketball when it's not a competitive score, anything can happen.
Yeah.
On who you have in the booth. All right, let's see here. Jeff Van Gundy asks, what does second cousin mean? Well, Jeff, let's see.
What does second cousins mean? Well, it's not. I think I don't want to. All right, when people say that, I never know what they mean or what you're allowed to do when you're a second cousin. What are you talking about? I don't know what a second cousin means. I am so grateful for this commercial right now.
And that's the best part too. Mike Breen just waiting to talk about basketball. What do you mean?
Season, right?
Oh my God!
It might. Now there are fans in the crowd, so I think it had to be at least a couple of years ago. It looked like there were a lot of fans.
I'm disappointed we didn't get a Mark Jackson. You're absolutely right, Jeff Van Gundy.
With all due respect, Jeff, I've never agreed with you more. Yeah, that's a great question, Jeff. They just go to like the referee official, like in like the home office. I don't know, guys.
Oh,
this isn't really what I do.
We're gonna throw it to Steve Javi back in Secaucus for this one.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable making a ruling on this one there, Jeffy.
I think
that's a tough one.
I think the baseball announcers have to be really careful with like, it's like before, yeah, you had a little more time in between pitches, but now there's a big emphasis on pace of play. So if you got something sad or melancholy to say, you better wrap it up like in between two pitches.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, hey, we're here to call a baseball game. Like, if you want to hear eulogy, like read the obituaries and like go to a wake. Like this is August. These are the dog days of summer. Like we're in a pennant race, for Christ's sakes. Like I can picture Brenneman like in between commercial breaks, just like talking to the executive producers. Hey guys, I love what we're doing here, but let's get back to baseball. All right. Castellanos is in a slump. Joey Votto's on fire. And right now he's buried in the lineup. We're in a pennant race, for Christ's sakes. All right. Let's be professionals.
I'm picturing it goes to commercial. He like angrily shuffles his papers and stacks them. Let's clean it up, people. We got Red Legs baseball to cover here.
It's like a moment of silence. A moment of silence with like the years born and dead on the Jumbotron. And Brenneman just like in his office, just like, let's go. We got Bronson Arroyo on the hill and his arm's getting stale.
Dude, actually, I was thinking the other end of this would be you go to like the Reds dugout and say they know something crazy sad has happened within the organization. And every time that happens, the manager has to be like, Nick,
get a bat.
Your timing couldn't be better, but it also couldn't be worse. So we're taking you out of the lineup today because we're sure that the announcers are going to have some kind words to say about fucking.
Apparently John F. Kennedy was just shot in his car coming down Hollywood Boulevard. Nick, we got to scratch you.
Or
production, the production truck just holds it.
We're gonna have to air your at bat on tape delay, Nick.
Joe Morgan is on his final, deathbed, so we're gonna have to take you out of the lineup today. I hope you understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm picturing kind of the opposite thing, like the head of production or whatever is like, all right, Castellanos is coming up in the sixth. So right now it's 4-0. All right, we're gonna save this for when he comes up. Like there's no other explanation,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, all right,
That's
we
true.
gotta get this and drag it out for as long as you possibly can. We got to make this cover the whole at bat, people. We need to go viral. Our team stinks. Let's go. Come on.
Very good
point.
Anytime like Nick Castellanos is warming up, they just have like their interns like scouring the internet looking for like just searching like tragedies near me like online waiting to announce it. Oh,
hey, did anybody with the Reds die recently? Assistant ball boy from '88. Let's go. Get it over here. Come on.
Got one. Here it is. Send. Just rattle it off. Or like Brenneman, like hearing in his earpiece, like, hey Tom, like as we talked about in our pre-production meeting, let's take a few in the bottom of the sixth to pay respects to Pete Rose's dad, who 50th anniversary of his passing. Well, let's get this over with. Anyway, here it is. And now we're back to Reds baseball. Thank God.
They awkwardly have to like keep stretching the story out because Castellanos just fouls off like a bunch of full count pitches.
Yeah. Anytime, like a meatball breaking ball is coming up that Castellanos is just gonna hammer. That's when you really have to put the emphasis on that dead or whatever happened. Shot in his home, dead.
I'm sure they're probably like, I don't care if you're mid
and a wife.
I don't care if you're mid sentence. Like as soon as you hear the crack of the bat, go straight into the death announcement.
You guys also heard that Castellanos' first career home run was on 9/11, right? Or it was like a 9/11 anniversary or something. Oh no, it was on the date 9/11.
With the devil.
Yeah, it wasn't September 11, 2001, but it was on that anniversary. Yeah, it's tough. He's got a resume. Did you guys see that other one? I think it was a soccer story. There's like a player heavily involved in like soccer tragedy. Like I think every time he scores a goal, someone's been assassinated or something. Hold on. Soccer. God damn it. Hold on. What was it? Soccer player coincidental death.
It's like harbingers
See
of
where
doom.
this takes us. List of association football players who died while playing. Save that for later, but no, that's not what I'm looking at right now. Damn it, I can't find it. It's like, I think like 40% of like his goals, someone of like celebrity status died that day or something, which is way too high for it to be a coincidence.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Get him off the pitch. Get him off the pitch.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jeez.
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. Like baseball, I think, is a tough one to cover. Like you really do have to have some. You have to have. That's why Orsillo and Remy were so great. Like you need to have a natural chemistry where you can withstand 5 to 6 minutes of silence, like a pitching change. When, like I said, when those long at bats would keep fouling it off. You got to keep your audience engaged, and those two are just the best at it. They'd find something funny happening in the crowd, and that's what kept eyeballs on Nesson for so many years.
Yeah, no, I still listen. I'm in terms of things I'm angry at the Red Sox for. It's letting Orsillo go and then trading Mookie Betts, and there's nothing you can do to change that order for me. You know,
that's a tough.
I loved Orsillo.
Too. Yeah, great guy. And I liked Sean McDonough a lot too. Remember when they used to be on Fox and Nesson, like mostly Nesson, but they'd have weekend games on Fox. That was a good tandem too. Yeah, full-time Nesson and now it's like a rotate, like Ellis Burke, who's fine, but Ellis Burks is on sometimes. Eckersley's in and out. Remy's in and out for health reasons, obviously. But yeah, it's not the same. Not like the good old days when you could enjoy like an 8-4 baseball game in like the 7th inning just because something stupid was going to happen in the crowd. And Orsillo would like piss himself live on air. Let's wrap up here. Did you want to address the Stephen A. Smith comments from today? Being big baseball guys.
I think we gotta.
I think we should. Soapy, do you want to take this one?
Sure. First I'll say. No, I'm not. I obviously don't agree with what he said, and two, it was wrong the way that he said it too.
That's the bigger part of it. The delivery and the how he got his point across probably wasn't the best.
What he said, if you broke it down into like, all right, take Stephen A. Smith's like fucking soliloquy and break it down into like 30 words tops. If you could do that, like the end result, you might understand it a little more than how he put it out. Like I feel like in his head, it may have sounded a little better than how he verbalized it. Basically, he said like, no matter how good Shohei Ohtani is, it's not great for baseball, or it could be much better for baseball, but it's not, because he needs an interpreter to speak for him during like interviews and press conferences.
Yep.
And if you're I think he literally hit his desk and was saying, like, in this country,
that was the turning point, I think, in the
anytime you say that, it doesn't matter what you say after, people are going to be like, okay, well, these are big time red hat, white letter vibes. And so we're just going to clown on you for the rest of the day. And he then apologized. And I thought his apology, honestly, was decent, because he said, I meant in terms of like where baseball is and how it's not.
I know exactly what he meant. Sport. Like I said, like, I think what you said it well. Like, what he was trying to get across is, like, you know, the biggest story in baseball is not, it's not a, you know, it's not like the classic, like, marketing face of baseball that you're probably used to, AKA just a white, well-spoken, farm-grown, like, baseball player, like Mike Trout, or like Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle, or like whatever. I think there's some truth to that. But the other thing is, none of this is Shohei Ohtani's fault, that he's like the best player in the world and wants to play in the best league in the world. I saw someone say that too. It's like, it's not great when, like, you're pushing this to be a global sport and the best player on the globe plays in the highest level of baseball, happens to be in America. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, fuck you want him to do. But there were a lot of weird, the things he emphasized weren't the right things to emphasize.
Like, why did you, you're Stephen A, so you know that a lot of the response to your message isn't even going to be about the message. It's about how you deliver it. And then the other part is like, okay, maybe that's your opinion, but clearly he's the most popular baseball player in the world, and has gone like, he's almost like a viral sensation that it just continues to keep plugging away, because he's at like 35 home runs leading up to the All-Star break. So this guy is a legit superstar, and him not speaking English has not been to his detriment. Like, who the fuck cares at this point? Baseball needs whatever face they can get, and it doesn't matter.
Listens to baseball players anyway. Like, there's no clips of baseball. I've heard Mike Trout talk like maybe once. Who else? Acuna doesn't talk. Tatis doesn't talk. All the top players are not American born. Tatis, also, Vlad, Acuna. Who's like the most famous, like, American white player right now? Trout. He doesn't talk.
Other than
Trout and DeGrom.
Nobody knows anything about DeGrom except he's the best pitcher ever. Like, that's not how baseball is. Like, NBA, you hear these guys talk before and after every game. It's because no one sticks around to the end of a baseball game. At the end of a basketball game, the first thing you do is go to the sideline reporter. Or back before COVID, like, some of the best basketball clips were like Russell Westbrook in his locker just getting microphones shoved into his face. Like, telling people to fuck off. That doesn't happen in baseball. Like, there's like a handful of baseball players I've ever heard talk. It's just not how the sport is.
Most of the time when you think of like a baseball interview anyways, the only time they have it is either after a no-hitter or a walk-off hit, or like something, you know, goofy,
or in the playoffs
where a player is getting interviewed and someone pies him in the face. Like, those are realistically, whereas if someone was like, what can you rank in order, NBA, NFL, MLB, which you can more easily picture a post-game interview, MLB would definitely be third,
of course,
and the other two is whatever. But it's so
there's
stupid.
no like sideline. I didn't even think about that till tonight, but you're absolutely right.
This guy's already larger than life, the best player, and he's doing something that hasn't been seen since Babe Ruth. So I don't think his interview techniques are going to be a big sticking point for most people.
Yeah. And two things. One, just to get out of the way now so I can move on to my next point. I always got to reference the Seinfeld joke. Babe Ruth was nothing but a fat old man with little girl legs. And you know what else I found out recently? He wasn't really a sultan.
No.
And then moving on. All right, now that I've got that out of the way, I don't even think I've ever thought about like, oh man, you know, Shohei Ohtani needs an interpreter or doesn't talk. I've never even thought about that. I'm just like, holy shit. Shohei Ohtani hit that ball 475 feet. Like, I'm going to watch this clip and I'm going to make my wife watch it, even though she hates that I'm making her watch it right now. And then I'm going to talk about it for 20 minutes. Like, that's never crossed my mind. Like, oh man, I wish he talked more. Like the laziest thing people say now is that baseball is boring.
Yep. Right.
Baseball has never been more exciting since the 98 home run chase between McGuire and Sosa. Like,
yep, I agree. Especially with fans
the young
back
dudes. Too. Yeah, the young dudes, they got the Padres are fun as hell. Tatis, Ohtani, which it doesn't make any sense to me how the Angels have Ohtani and Trout. I know Trout's on the IL right now, but they're not able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense. Who else? Like Javi Baez in Chicago.
Yep.
Like
the Blue Jays have 3 awesome hitters.
The Blue Jays. Yep. Yeah. Like we got so many good players that are like fun to watch. Like stop saying it's boring because it's not.
I think now it's just
so
like
a horrendous marketing problem too.
Yeah, for sure. Sad. Big time. And today's Stephen A. Smith thing did not help at all. If any, actually, maybe not. If anything, it got more attention to it, but not like, not in a good way. I just think what sucks so bad about sports now is ever since it's become like cool to talk about it from like not that I think it's cool, but ever since people found it something to talk about it from like a political standpoint, it's like you just don't get the
crossover happens.
Like, God, that's so frustrating. Like anytime I see someone on like Facebook or Twitter, like, oh, NFL just lost another fan, like not watching these games anymore. You're not watching the games. Like nothing has changed of the actual games. Like I think they really think like in the middle of the games, players are just shouting out like, like social injustice messaging or like taking a knee like in the middle of play or something. Like the game hasn't changed at all. To your point, baseball's gotten way better. Basketball is still great. NFL's been great. You're just focusing on such a minute detail of the presentation that you'd rather not watch. And who knows if they probably are watching anyway. Like you'd rather just be ignorant and say, oh, I'm not watching because that's like the cool thing for your spectrum of the party to say. It's just so fucking annoying. And then there's guys like, I don't know, like Clay Travis, who are just so consistent. Like, oh, NBA ratings are down again. That's what happens when you go woke, like this, and that. It's
woke, you go broke.
Yeah,
exactly. That's one of the cringiest things on the internet. It's like
he probably wants to hire Stephen A. now.
He's going to hire Stephen A. He's going to hire Rachel Nichols. Like Outkick is going to get a lot of big influx of talent. But yeah, it's tough. It's like also like anytime I see ratings compared like last year in the bubble or so, it's like you realize this is such a one-off scenario. Like these ratings don't matter at all. Like I think one time he was saying it might have been him. He's like, oh, like, that Bulls Jazz game in 98 doubled the ratings of Heat Lakers game 4 in the bubble last year. It's like, what are we comparing right now? Like literally the number one player and team of all time to a makeshift product last year just to get something on the court. It's just so silly. It's tough. And to your point, Lang, like you're missing out on a lot of good stuff. Like even as a casual fan, like you can be a casual fan and really enjoy the NBA. The finals is great this year just because it's teams you've never heard of. Watch it and get introduced to new players. Like I was saying that last time. This playoffs in general is the first time I've really watched like DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is phenomenal. Like he was a great pick at number 1 in a stacked draft. Like he was a great pick at number 1. Like that's not a bust, not even close. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Giannis, like there's reasons to tune in every night. So, and then baseball is just always going to be third, or it's always going to be behind football and basketball, which is fine. But yeah, we shouldn't be so quick to discredit on a national stage someone like Shohei Ohtani, who is the best player in baseball and happens to be Japanese, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't speak English. What do you want him to do? Ichiro didn't speak English either. He was like the coolest guy in baseball for a big part of my childhood. I thought that made him cooler.
People don't take into account, like, imagine coming to a different country at the age of 27. Like, you'd have a tough time trying to learn the fucking language too. And I guarantee he probably knows more English than he lets on. He just doesn't want to. Well, actually, I think I've read that and confirmed. He knows some English, but they would prefer to like be smoother at it to conduct an interview.
Yeah, sure.
And it was the same with who was the other guy I was looking up? Rafael Devers, because I just watched a post-game interview with him, and there were so many comments from people being like, oh, why can't he do this fucking interview in English? And everyone was like, dude, it's a known fact that he can.
What a terrible thing to say.
But he's not great at it. So he would prefer not to do that. But I was going to ask Lang, because I think Dan's seen this. Justin, did you see the picture that I tweeted with Stephen A?
No, let me look at it.
Oh, hold on. It's all over Twitterverse. Soapy when he was 9.
Let me see.
Oh, it's so good. I tweeted it too. Soapy did. It's probably on the Morse code handle.
Holy shit. Is that you?
Yeah. So it's from 2010.
Oh my God.
The story or the little detail that I put beforehand is all true, except for the interpreter part, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's getting killed because Tyler retweeted it. I always thought this was funny, and I don't think anyone else did, that he was wearing Eminem's old clothing brand, Shady Limited. And I caught him coming out of the gym, and I was like, oh, dude, it's Stephen A. Like, fuck it. I'll ask him for a picture. And he was still obviously super famous back then, but he couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he probably thought I didn't speak English or something.
Yeah. I going, like you said, his apology was fine. Whatever. It was better than some, but I mean, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll get through this. He's going to address it tomorrow.
He then
it could have been worse.
Statement.
Oh, okay. Nah, I don't think so.
So I think
what he said.
Was it better than the Rachel Nichols apology?
Yeah, it was. He actually apologized and said, "No, I was completely wrong. That was offensive to."
That's all you need to do
to anyone, especially Shohei, and like both factually and from like a human, human standpoint, like it was wrong in both cases.
Yeah, that's fine. It is what it is. I mean, that's the thing about like the other term I don't like is cancel culture. It's basically just like being accountable for shit you say is probably the best way to look at it. And that's fine. I think, remember the Drew Brees apology from like last summer when he was talking? Man.
How did he apologize?
Yeah.
Well, you remember he said, whatever, like, I'm not going to tolerate like people.
Yeah. He didn't understand why his teammates were.
Yeah. On Yahoo Finance podcast. He said that. And then obviously like, I guess rightfully so. A bunch of players and teammates attacked him on Twitter. His apology was like that cartoon image of like the black and white hand, like shaking.
Oh my God.
Hands.
Oh yeah.
And like the clearly
the
like
stock
publicist
image.
wrote it. And that, and that didn't do him any favors, but
no,
he got through that. I don't know. I think
why did he talk about it on a finance podcast? I didn't realize it was on a Yahoo Finance podcast. He's talking about money. He's like, by the way, I got to get this out there.
Yeah.
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 Speaking of money, I'm not losing a lot of it because of,
Yeah. Speaking of buying when something's low, I couldn't be lower right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of not buying things getting lower than they are when they're standing, let's transition this to some anthem talk. That's what you want to do, Drew. Let's do it.
I do have a great Ichiro translation thing that I read last week. Actually, it's pretty good timing for this. You guys remember Mike Sweeney from the Royals?
Sure.
DH first baseman, like early to mid 2000s or so. So he said he was part of like one of those goodwill teams that would go over to Japan and play like the Japanese All-Stars or the champions of the Nippon League or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said they went over there and he noticed that whenever somebody got a hit, they would say over the PA, nice baseball or like good baseball, something like that in English. And Ichiro came over from Japan. It was his rookie year, 2001, to play for the Mariners. And he said the first time that they played against each other, he was like, I didn't know how much English he knew. So I just wanted to say like, good job, basically. So he got to first base and he goes, hey, Ichiro, very good baseball. Ichiro, good baseball. And he looks at him, he goes, Mike Sweeney, nice ass. And then takes his lead off of first base.
Nice. That's hilarious. Dude, that 2001 Mariners team was like one of the funnest like baseball years of all time. Rookie Ichiro. I think that's the year they won like 100. I think it was 116. It was like a record at the time. That was so sick. Brett Boone in his frosted tips. Edgar Martinez. Freddie Garcia. Yeah, Ichiro is like must-watch television. And I was a kid. I was much more into baseball then than I am now, I'll say. I loved watching Ichiro. I didn't give a fuck what language he spoke. Like I said, I thought it was even cooler. Yeah. Like he was so like mysterious. Because then he was like, I remember how old he was, but he wasn't like 18. He was like 30 or something like that. Like first time rookie from Japan. I think didn't Yao have an interpreter too? Yao Ming?
I think so.
For his first few leagues in the year.
Yep.
Yeah,
very
that
cool.
Sounds right. Yeah.
It's very like Kane-esque from the Attitude Era. Like you knew Kane when you knew he couldn't talk, because I thought, Paul Bearer like burned his vocal cords or something. But then as soon as they started writing in like Kane talking to his like cigarette lung cancer thing, I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, but I really don't want it to go much further than this. Then he started like making suck it jokes with like DX and X-Pac, and it's like, hell, like that's it. There's the peak of Kane's coolness.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Man.
And then
great.
They got to storylines like him taking his mask off. It's like, come on, bro. Like once that happens, like it's over. If you're gonna wear a mask, like wear your mask your entire career. Yeah. Like Rey Mysterio or Kane. Like as soon as they take the mask off, it's like, all right, here's another guy. And now he's like governor of wherever the fuck he is, Minnesota or something.
Knoxville, Tennessee, I believe.
Tennessee. That makes more sense.
Yeah. When he took his mask off the first time, I did have nightmares for a couple nights.
Remember? Yeah, his face was all like burnt, like he had like black shit on it. But then after that, it's like it's just never the same. I always say the same thing. Oh, are you a Star Wars guy, Lang, or no? I forget.
I have seen the Star Wars, but not the recent ones.
Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say like Kylo Ren in the new ones is like one of the coolest characters of all time. And then he takes his mask off. It's like, it's just Adam Driver, like with long hair. Like this isn't very cool anymore. That's the guy from that divorce movie.
Dude, I think you'll agree with this. Then I hated that he took his mask off so early.
Huge turning point in the trilogy. It's so bad. I'll never forgive him for that. Never forgive George Lucas for that one.
He
fumbled the bag on that one.
Episode 7 was his first appearance, right?
Yep.
And then was he in 8 or 9? I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't you wait until 8 or 9? Like that was a bad decision.
Yeah. That'd be like having Darth Vader take his mask. He took his mask off literally the last minute of the trilogy.
Yeah,
which was fine. That's great. Yeah, that was a big bozo move. Because at the time, I don't know if we've argued this before. I thought he was like one of the better characters of all time in Star Wars. Like when he had his mask, he had like the
Kylo Ren
voice. Oh yeah, like I thought he was getting close to Vader, but then as soon as he takes his mask off, nah. It's just Adam Driver.
It's just this
Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
You're not that bad.
It wasn't cool.
I've seen you in like kids movies. And I like Adam Driver. I think he's a really good actor, but that's not, I don't need that in a villain. Yeah. In a villain aimed at taking over the galaxy. Like just keep your mask on.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any
of the Richard? Hey, Adam.
Yeah. Did you guys watch any of the Richard the Richard Branson space launch the other day?
I didn't see this. I saw the caption. I didn't read into it.
What a weird thing to happen. Just rich guys going to space is just such a weird flex. I don't know.
Is he going to be on the same trip as?
Got too much time on their hands.
I don't know. Like they're selling space. Like they're selling a trip to space, which is going to be so much money. I don't know. Would you go to space if you could? I don't think I would. I'd be too scared.
Ooh.
I don't know if the pros outweigh. I don't know if the reward outweighs the risk.
Yeah,
of potentially being lost in space.
Well, so is he going to carpool with Elon?
I'm not thrilled with flying, much less to the space.
Yeah, I don't even like flying on Earth, let alone flying outside of Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I could somehow get like guaranteed I'd get back safe, maybe, but that would still be so freaky. So freaky.
Yeah.
And if it comes with the risk of not coming back, I've said the same thing about skydiving. Have you guys been skydiving?
Oh, no.
That's one too where I'm like,
no way.
The risk does not outweigh the reward. As small as it is, if there's a chance like my chute doesn't open, that can't be worth getting the feeling of just flying in air. I can't. Can't do it. I'm surprised there's not more skydiving deaths. There's actually one in, I think, Maine a year or two ago. Skydiving New England.
Yeah, Castellanos coming up right now.
I thought of one. You'll appreciate this one, Soapy. I think like the ultimate Castellanos or the ultimate Brenneman moment would be Owen Hart.
Oh,
that would be the ultimate Brenneman moment. As like, I don't know, as he falls to his death and like, of course, RIP Owen Hart, but like as the medics are running out, I'm at a loss for what the transition would be. But if anyone can find it, it'd be Brenneman. I don't know.
And speaking there is no foundation where this heart could be resuscitated.
Oh boy.
My God,
man.
I wasn't even going to go that far. I was going to say, speaking of exciting and unexpected, we've got a title match tonight.
We're very excited to announce our latest sponsor for WrestleMania 35. Oh, that's tough. I wonder what he's doing. Like, I wonder, you think Brenneman's blackballed from obviously Major League Baseball? Do you think he gets a job in like some local circuit around the country? Single A,
like Brockmeyer.
Yeah, exactly, like Brockmeyer, Brennan Meyer. Like the Marlins Single A team gives Brenneman a redemption shot. Oh, that'd be a great documentary. The comeback.
Have you seen Brockmeyer, Soapy?
I haven't.
It's so good. I have.
Oh, baby.
Great character.
Oh,
what a great character!
Terrific.
Like what a well-written character.
Is that a TV series?
I think now, right? It used to be just like a YouTube like skit
it's on Hulu
with Hank Azaria.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's like a real show now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very funny. That's fucking Brenneman. If that guy is Brenneman.
Yeah. 100%. Like he's going to be calling cockfights in the Philippines and shit like pretty soon.
They'll find a way to get him out of there too, because somehow something that's already problematic. He'll find a way to piss people off.
So I'm trying to think. That happened because he used to do Fox football too, right?
Yeah.
He'd be one of the rotations.
Yeah.
So that happened in the summer with baseball. I mean, obviously, I assume he wasn't part of the Fox NFL broadcast last year either.
I'm going to look it up, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he got canned by Fox, like overall. Like they just.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna
gave him the cardboard box.
I'm curious if that's what he thought. Like, oh, at least I still have football. Tommy. We're gonna give someone else this slot. All right.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. Got to watch the F words when I'm covering the next Chiefs game. I think we'll be good. All right, guys. I understand if you take me off Bucks at Chiefs. I get it, but I think I'm ready to get back on the mic and cover Falcons Raiders week 3. I'll watch my tone. I know. No bombs. Hot mic. Yeah. Tom, I don't think you understand what's happening here. You are unemployed with Fox Sports.
Oh, here we go.
You got him on the line?
It says a month after the incident, he officially resigned from the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio. However, according to USA Today, the Reds had already decided that Brenneman would not return for the 2021 season and that he had been informed of this decision. AKA, this is just N'Keal Harry requesting a trade when he's already about to be traded.
Pretty much. Yeah. Guy's a bozo of the year.
He walked that back today.
Good grief. What a tool bag.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Brenneman was the second guy on Fox.
He was up there. He had big games. Oh, yeah.
I think it was like Joe Buck, Brenneman, and then Kenny Albert.
For Fox? Yep. Yeah, those are the big ones. Definitely. Yeah, here's the thing. I like Tom Brenneman as an announcer. I liked him on the calls. Great at football. I think he did some national baseball too. He might have done like the Fox Saturday games and stuff.
I'm pretty sure
I think he did.
I mean, he's probably pulling at least $1 million a year. He's a great play-by-play announcer.
Mm-hmm.
Not great at his work-life balance or like keeping off the field from on field. Yeah. It's tough.
Probably bad person, great announcer, but you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say he got caught that one time. That can't be the first time he's uttered his thoughts on, filling the problematic.
That rolled right off his tongue a little bit too easily.
Yeah. That was far too nonchalant. Like,
all right, yeah, we'll wrap up here, but real quick, that just reminded me. I think it was Dragonfly Jones or one of those guys was talking about this before. This is kind of unrelated, but kind of related. So you guys know the movie Django Unchained with Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio. So like that famous story, like that scene, like where Leo's like with the skull and like smashes it, and the story came out like, oh, he actually like cut his hand like in the middle of like his racist rant. I think it was Dragonfly or someone. He's like, nah, like he was way too smooth with like getting those lines off to the point where like cutting your hand didn't even stop you from like spewing out that racist rant. He was like, there's no way that was on script that time. And then like some other people were commenting. It was so funny. But yeah, you learn a lot about someone when the mic's on and you don't think it is. Rachel Nichols, all those guys. I just think, bro, it's like if you're in the media, I know it's probably easier said than done, but you have to assume everything you've ever said can somehow go public. So either you just take your chances and hope the handful of times you slip some problematic things, you're not being recorded, but it's tough. It's tough out there for racist and homophobic announcers in 2021. Tough scene. I'm wondering if they just start like their own, like just independent sports league where it's like, hey,
oh god,
we're gonna hire some guys, no rules, say whatever you want. If you want to watch, great. Or he gets picked up by like OAN or I don't know, one of those weird right wing. He'll get a job somewhere. It's just inevitable. I don't know. He's got to pay his dues and see how it goes. Anything from him before we hop off?
Him and Ben Shapiro start calling like Nationals games.
Boy, good God. That would just be the worst.
Jazz games.
Let me tell you, Tom. Here we go. Here's why facts don't care about your feelings. That guy's such a dweeb. I think I heard you and Maddie talking about Ben Shapiro one episode like a while back.
Oh, he stinks.
That guy is something else.
Fucking nerd.
Him putting it out there into the world that he's never been able to get his wife aroused was really something. That was about the top of the mountain for him.
Yeah, tough scene.
Oh, geez,
tough scene for old Benny boy. All right. Let's log off here, Justin. Again, thanks for jumping on. It was a nice
thanks
time
for having
going through another week in problematic Twitter. I guess until next time, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All
right, cool.